welcome back to What the Why with Barbara Ann on RVN Television. If you haven't seen us before, our show features conversations with diverse leaders from all walks of life about why they do what they do and how they figured things out. Are you sick and tired of feeling sick and tired? Or do you feel stuck and want to get unstuck in your business or your job or your life? Well, all of our guests can empathize. At some point, they felt similarly and decided to do something about it, and today is no exception. Please welcome to the show Jaclyn Strominger, founder and owner of Leap to Your Success via Zoom from Nevada. Jaclyn has been passionate about helping people for over 3 decades. After 20 years in magazine publishing, she started mentoring when she realized most people begin their careers without a clear path or plan. And in 2013, she became an entrepreneur through her journey, started coaching and training women and men how to pursue their own passions and create the life they desire. Careers in life are all about stages, and she helps create goals and plans for all of those stages we go through, while also helping people increase their inner and outer confidence, take leaps, take charge of their lives, and navigate through the highs and lows of change. Her education and certifications include direct marketing, a Bachelor of Science in Industrial Management, and she's a member of the International Coaching Federation. I'm very excited to talk with her today. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Jaclyn Strominger, business and life coach, accountability partner, podcaster, entrepreneur, direct marketing expert, and business builder to our show. So, yay, round of applause.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Barbara. It's really great to be on here.
Yes, and thank you for coming on. And so now, as we ask all of our guests, for those who've seen the show before, don't imagine that this is what you thought you'd be doing at this point in your life. So what did you want to be when you were growing up?
That is a really good question. And it's so funny because I was thinking about it. And when I was growing up, I had a couple of different ideas of what I wanted to do or be. First, I started off as a pediatric nurse. Then I was like, why do I want to be a nurse? I want to be a doctor. And then I went into advertising because if you could put a commercial on the radio, on the TV or the radio, I would remember them like nobody's business, right? And I kept thinking I could do this better. So I really wanted to go into advertising, and then, my first career, I never even imagined that I would go into magazine publishing, circulation, direct marketing. But I fell in love with the industry. I did an internship and I fell in love with it. And then never imagined that I would be where I am today either. But life is about those stages and learning what makes you thrive and what gets you really excited. So, now I absolutely just love what I get to do every day.
Yeah, which is awesome. So how did you find the courage or make the decision to go from, a 20-year career in advertising to entrepreneur?
So making changes and transitions is definitely something that's very scary for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And I have to say, I was not one that was not scared or afraid either. However, the biggest thing that I had going for me and why I decided to make the change was, at the end of the day, I wanted to be happy. And I wanted to have my own business. And I wanted to be the one that called the shots as to what I was doing. And, it was almost, as you go through life, you're going through all these, you're going through different things. Sometimes, my first part in my career, I was working for someone and we had a plan. And then I got into this one company and we had this great entrepreneurial, division within it. And that was like a great blessing because I got to see that. And then I got into, as my career got on, I was with another company, and I woke up one day and I'm like, I'm just tired of people not knowing what they're doing and not communicating their goals and the values of the company. And I just thought, there's got to be a better way, and I really want to be my own boss. So through just having the wherewithal and knowing that I can do what I want to do, and I know I can be successful as long as I set my mind to it and set some goals. And I took the leap.
Wow. Which literally is in the name of your company, Leap to Success. So, and as I mentioned, you described your mission is really helping people navigate these challenges. How did you figure out that was, I mean, you talked about kind of generally, but helping individuals is very different than working in a corporate setting. So how did you figure out that this was your mission?
So I love this question, and it brings a smile to my face, because it really is like why I love doing what I'm doing. So when we start, I should say, well, the whole reason why I got to where I got was because I hired a coach. I hired somebody right when I was making the transition. Actually, I had made the transition. I was doing my own thing. I was being an entrepreneur. And I just thought, I think I need a coach. And I listened to a webinar, and I actually had hired one coach, and it turned out she wasn't really the right coach for me. So then I interviewed a few other people. And so I ended up meeting this, a coach who I just loved his philosophy, and we worked so well together. And it was, he had a coaching company, and I worked with him, and I worked with another coach. And it was through working with this coaching group that I realized this is what I loved. I really loved the coaching process. And what I loved even more was, and why I came to creating my own business, is I wish I had a coach the day I graduated college. I really do. Because throughout our lives, we do go through stages. That coach, if I had a coach right when I first graduated college, yes, I was doing what I knew or I thought that I wanted after graduating college. I had been an intern with a couple of magazine companies, and I was loving it. But I didn't have a coach helping me through my goals and really mapping out what I wanted to accomplish every single year. Where was I going? I mean, I had in my head what I wanted to do, but there was nobody that was working with me to map it out. I mean, yes, I talked to my parents, and my dad was a great sort of a pseudo mentor, and my managers and VPs of companies were pseudo mentors. But nobody really was focusing just on me and what I wanted and where did I want to go. I mean, everything from saving money to buying a house to the next rank or the next management position. So I think about that, and I kept thinking, God, don't get me wrong. I mean, I've loved my life, and
Sure.
there's no regrets. But I kept thinking, what type of an impact can I help make for somebody else?
Yeah.
Whether they're hiring or I'm working with them right from when they get out of college to maybe it's that second, maybe if they're at their second position, maybe they're in their third, but they know they want a plan and they'd love to work with a coach to help create that accountability, to help gain the confidence in what they're doing. Our actions bring us confidence.
Yeah.
Speaking of, before we started, we were talking about football. So I'm originally from Massachusetts, so I apologize. So, you think about Tom Brady, right? He didn't come out of the womb knowing how to throw a football with the accuracy that he has. So it takes practice. It takes somebody to work with you. It takes somebody that's going to sit with you and say, okay, if you throw it this way, you're going to get this result, but you got to keep practicing it. So that's what I like to do. I like to work with people to help them keep practicing at what they're doing so they get better and they get that confidence and they see the results. And we're looking at things. So it was through me hiring my own coach that I came to this. And through my businesses as an entrepreneur, I was coaching people to grow a business. And the part that I liked the most was the coaching part. I loved that. I love being able to help make a difference in somebody else's life. To be the person that believed in them and showed, to show a client what belief means, so that they can have belief in themselves. And I've had some clients that have said to me, Jaclyn, you're the first person that's really believed in me, or that expressed it. And that, makes me sad, but at the same time, makes me so excited that somebody can start to feel belief.
It's
right?
Absolutely. Because it takes a lot. Basically, as coaches, we're asking people to put trust in us that we're going to help guide them to optimize their lives and become their best selves. And it's interesting because there's a wide variety of coaches out there. And I love that you touched on the differences between mentoring and coaching, because each serves a purpose, but they're not the same thing.
Correct. Right.
And as coaches, we acknowledge that people have the answers. It's just our job to help guide them. And you're right, it is so surprising when people express that no one's ever showed that belief and support in them. And it sounds like that's a part of what makes you unique in terms of your approach. So what are some of the other things that make you unique as a coach? I joked earlier today that, if McDonald's and Burger King can survive across the street from each other, there's plenty of room for really great coaches in terms of all the different ways that we can help people.
So I think one of the things that makes me a little, makes me either unique or different, or, each coach is not going to be right for every single person. They're not. We have personalities. So one of the things that a few people have actually said to me today in sessions is that I'm relatable, and that I make people feel comfortable, and that it's easier to open up. And, I have learned, because I know what it was like, there's no judgment. This is just learning, and it's a safe space. And I think the other part that really makes me unique as a coach is my experience in learning different ways to coach. Yes, it could be through core energy. It could be, we're always, being curious. But at the same time, is that I love helping and holding people accountable for actions. As coaches, that's one of the big things that a coach does, is that we help people set a baseline and then create action items that is going to help them level up. And we have to create that baseline. So that's one of the things that I feel like I do a really great job with, helping people create that baseline and what's measurable.
Awesome.
And what do we need to track? And it doesn't happen overnight. These are things that we transform and change. I think back to when I started, 2013 and became an entrepreneur, how much growth I have had as a person, as a business person. friend, wife, mother, and all of that, I can say, 90% of it came from coaching and the learning that happens in between the sessions.
Yes.
And the growth that happens. So
Okay.
yes, there's lots of different coaches out there, and I think for what I do is I'm loving and I love helping people look at their career, where do they want to go and grow? If they're in a business or they're working for somebody, where do they want to go? And if they've been at home and they want to get back into the workforce, how do they do that?
All right. So believe it or not, we're actually past the time for our break. So we're going to pause momentarily for some commercials from our sponsors and advertisers. And for our audience, please come back after this brief break for more with Jaclyn Strominger and on What the Why. Welcome back to What the Why with Barbara Ann on RVN Television, and today's special guest, Jaclyn Strominger, the owner of Leap to Your Success and entrepreneur many times over. And before the break, we were talking about how coaching so personally benefited her and what makes her different. So let's talk about some of the programs and services that you offer. Because I know just from reading your newsletters, you have more than one way of providing services that you already hinted at before the break.
Yeah. So to me, coaching is so important. And so one of the things that I have recently done, and it's somewhat brand new, so it's a new reveal, is I've created a great program called the Unstoppable Achievers. And what it is a great way for people to try out coaching and to get their feet wet, so to speak. And what it includes is a free or complimentary passion to profit strategy session, so we can plan and start thinking about the year, what the goals are. And then it's a group coaching that happens on Zoom once a month, and then every week thereafter for the rest of the month there is a Facebook training. And so it's a great community and tribe, and people can jump in, they can listen, they can ask questions. So part of it in that week, in each of those weeks with those trainings, is that we're also looking back into the live Zoom coaching, and so people are moving forward with their goals. And it actually also includes a printed newsletter that gets delivered to their door in the mail. I keep saying in the mail, not email, in the mail.
Wow.
And it's just a great program, and it's a great way to step in. The first month is $7, and every month thereafter is $97, and you can find that right on my website as well. So, and I do have other programs, but I really like this because it's a great way to get people to jump in and try. And it's a way for me to be able to give back as well, and help others.
Yeah, because coaching, I mean, it can be expensive, and because it's not covered by health insurance, even though it's a really important part of mental health development. And, the cost to become a coach makes it very challenging for coaches to offer something that's as accessible as what you're doing, which is really special, and thank you for doing that. What's one thing you wish you knew before you went down this road that you would like to share with others who are thinking about choosing this path?
So whether you are going down the path to choose to become a coach or to become an entrepreneur, the one piece of advice or something that I wish that I knew is I really wish that I had really set two things. It's really two big things. One is I really wish I knew about the ups and downs. Because when you are an entrepreneur and when you are on your own and you're working, there are highs and lows. And you can be working in your office, it's creating that calendar and sticking to it, but there's highs and lows. And I wish somebody had just said, that's normal. Because it probably took me a year to understand that, which was great what I got from a coach. Because it's you learn in the bottom of that trough on that wave, and it takes a lot of grit and a lot of mental capacity to keep going. And just know, no, it's okay, you're not alone. To be on that, for lack of a better word, roller coaster, or to ride the wave. Just ride the wave. And the other big thing that I wish that I had known, if anyone's also getting into coaching or again starting their own business, is research. I did a lot of research, but it took me a little while. So I always say, research what you're going into, speak to other people who are in the industry, and get a feel, and have a lot of informational interviews. People like to share and like to help. And I guess maybe that's the third thing. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
And all great suggestions. Absolutely great suggestions. If you were one doing the interview, as an experienced podcaster yourself, if you were the one doing the interview, what question would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask?
You've asked some great questions. But I would say, one question that I love is, how do you get your day going? And the reason why I think that's such a great question is because you hear lots of different philosophies about having a miracle morning, or having to start your day with a certain way. The biggest thing that I like to share is you need to start your day the way that's going to get you excited. And I like to share that one of the things that I learned to bookend my days. It's a bookend. So I start my day, you'll always find it, me personally, I exercise in the morning every day. It gets my brain going. It is something that I have been doing for years. And the mornings that I don't have that same level of energy and drive. So for me, I start my day always with exercise. And I don't pick this up, my phone, and look at anything. The only reason why I pick it up is actually because I turn off the alarm. But is to set time, specifically to set time to look at your emails, to look at your social media, and to do the hard things first. Set what you want and set your intention for the day. And it's something that I do every single morning. And before I go to bed at night, I'm looking at the things that I need to do. And if you can bookend your days and create some form of consistency, yes, they can go a little bit of right, but create consistency, it's amazing how much you can get done.
Wow. Well, believe it or not, we are approaching the end of our time together. So I guess, quick parting word of advice?
Just remember that, number one, you're good enough, and you can do what you want to do to make those leaps to success. Just believe in your heart and in your head.
Perfect. So thank you so much for sharing your journey and your approach and how you work with clients with our viewers. For those who are interested in learning more about you and would like to learn about the program and connect with you, what is the best way for them to do so?
So the best thing to do is actually go to my website, go to leaptoyoursuccess.com, and I have a contact form. I do offer a free Passion to Profit strategy session. I'd love you to take me up on that. But you can also find me at Jaclyn.Strominger on Instagram, and you can also find me on Facebook with Jaclyn Strominger. So either one of those, but honestly, the best place is Leap to Your Success. Go to my website, fill out the contact form, and let's just schedule a call.
Awesome. Sounds like a great plan. Thank you again, Jaclyn, for joining us today and sharing how you help people leap to their success.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure.
Mine too. Thank you so much. So now, as we look ahead to our upcoming guests, you just heard from Jaclyn, you've heard from others, and you really don't want to miss anyone that we have coming up. They include business owners and coaches, authors, technology experts, gamers, artists, entrepreneurs, military veterans, athletes, and people who overcame seemingly insurmountable challenges. Please believe me when I say you don't want to miss what any of our upcoming guests have to say about their journeys. And if you missed any of our past guests and want to check out what they had to say, you can also catch all of season 1 and 2 on demand on the What the Why page of RVN Television's website. You have so many viewing choices these days. Thank you very much for watching our show, and please tell a friend or colleague about us. As a reminder, and also, whether you're looking to make changes in your life, no matter how big or small, please join us again for more inspirational, illuminating, and informative conversations with guests such as Jaclyn, who decided that she knew what her purpose in life was, and she navigated whatever challenges were in her path to overcome them, live into her purpose, and achieve it.